Here you go, guys. They're now making this machine, MT120, 1,200 pound lift. This is a single component now, so that's got to be very expensive if you damage it, but it's very sturdy. It's bolted on, it's all solid. They've also modified these pins, which was a failure point on my machine on the 100. This is a solid big old pin now that looks like 1.25 inches. Big old shaft pin there with a bolt to hold it on, so that's the retaining bolt. Gone over to the greaser style track. So now when you want to retract, I've been told you gotta unscrew that greaser and use a pry bar to push that front roller, and that reduces your stick out. And then when you want to tension it, you got to grease it. So that makes the tensioning part of the greasing process every day. This looks different, but I don't really know why. There's your brake, same as before. They got this arm on here. They told me that arm was to give you extra lift. So they changed up some angles. They've also done something to reduce the slop on this cylinder. I don't know if you guys remember, on a 100, it has a tendency to shift left to right and rattle. And they made these pucks, and they weld them in place once they build this assembly and put that on. It looks like, who knows what order, but they basically insert those pucks and get the lineup perfect. And so now because of that being a welded area right there, this is non-bolted. What the old design with the bolts was kind of nice, but you got to use a snap ring plier to get this off. So that's what you're working with there. Let's see, under the hood, when you open the hood, this orange thing holds it open for you. That's kind of nice. And they've gotten rid of that front position radiator, which is probably smart, because that radiator used to always get gunked up so bad with stuff, and it was so hard to clean. And now it's up here where it's not hard to take down or hard to clean. Look, I bet you take out just those 2 bolts and you're able to lift it. Yeah, and it looks like that might be doing your hydraulic and your engine, but for sure that's the engine, because you can see your fluid coming from the pump right here. But you still got the mechanical throttle. So this is your mechanical. I'll just show you. There's the handle. You can go here. See? So you don't have to worry about using a digital display for the throttle. And very similar design here, but this is a Daedong engine. So I don't see a horsepower here, but I understand it's almost identical horsepower. They also have a little door here. You can keep your phone, put an adapter for a charger. That's a cigarette lighter. You get a little bit easier access for the hydraulic fluid here, and you got your hydraulic fluid check outside of the body. We got easy to move electric over hydraulic handles, very, very easy to move. Glow plug cycle is just forward, and I don't see any glow plug symbol. There's the symbol right there. So then it should start right up. It's got its own start, it's got like a start controller, it seems like. So when you want this to go down, you just gotta push this handle.
Okay.
That. Oh, and by the way, when you want to get into the rear of the machine, you just take off this muffler, which you can see your 4 bolts are easy access, and then you got one more bolt right here, and then you have access to that rearwards area behind the engine, which is a big problem on the MT100. And there's your diesel fill. Oh, I did also want to tell you guys quick, I didn't like that this material here was very easy to move. I'm able to push this and bend it and move it. But that's how they designed it, and it's got this large structural steel around this hydraulic cylinder in the front.
What is it though?
This is your auxiliary, which will control your grapple, and you got to hit this lock button to run the machine. So when you start it, it's locked. So then you can see you get a nice height here. I don't know if you guys can tell. Might be a little bit hard to tell, but it got a lot more height than an MT100. It doesn't reach really far past itself. I mean, it does have some reach. I'll bet you it's like a good foot. from the hinge pin back to, you know, where that tip of the track is located. So that tells you where you drive up to your truck, and that's how far you can go. Another thing worthy of note, it seems to bog down when you use multiple hydraulic functions. And also, when you drive forward, it's not instantaneous. So you can do this, and the machine doesn't really do anything. It also has a button here. I haven't figured out what the button is for, but it still has the auxiliary interlock pedal. So for your... Anyway, the lock button puts you in park. So there's no parking brake here. Now that's your parking brake. So it shouldn't be able to roll downhill now. Which means that when the machine is off, it shouldn't be able to roll downhill either. So this handle is very easy to move, but you got to deal with the fact that it's a digital device. So hopefully they're reliable. Back here, my one little gripe with the engineering is this battery looks like it's impossible to take out. It might be just small enough to get out. It looks like that rod is pretty easy to unhook off there once you loosen this. But you might actually have to take off this, there might be a cover on this that you could possibly take off. So possibly, let's see. Nope, that's just the air filter. So yeah, we gotta figure this thing out. It's got this type of handle instead of the clasp, so it doesn't rattle. It's pretty reliable, it seems like. So there it is, guys. Little show and tell for you, so you know what's there. Oh, also I've been informed that these tracks are wider, but they're tucked under the machine. So in other words, it's kind of like the Kubota. When the Kubota mini skid came out, everybody liked it because it had the wide tracks, but it still fit through a gate. And I can tell you that this is a very fast machine. I really like it. The speed is, that's what we were asking for, Bobcat, so thanks for that. Guys, I forgot to mention this at the Bobcat dealership, but this machine actually has removable side panels around the engine, so left, right side, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that there's actually a front panel that's removable as well. And removing those gives you so much better access to like starter, belts, alternator, all the stuff that's right around the motor, a lot easier to access. So that is all I came back to say. Have a great day.